How's it going, guys? Welcome back. Welcome to my patch 14.21 rundown. I'm going to make this a very brief and sketchy video. I was planning on doing this massive rundown, but in the end, I don't really have the time to do it. So if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and let's just get started with all the changes. So the first thing you're going to notice is that the Ghouls got hit. They lost 5% of their AD, and they got 2 extra base AD at all levels. It's a nerf at all stages of the game. And from my calculations, it's not 5%. It's actually something more like 8 to 13. It's actually quite a big nerf. It's a lot bigger than people realize. At the end of the day, will it matter? Sure, there's going to be the odd scenario where you're going to notice it. Jungle Yorick's clear is pretty much identical, so there is no difference. The only thing you're going to notice is when you leave camps, the Ghouls are going to kill them a bit slower. At the end of the day, that's not always a bad thing, though, because sometimes you leave the Ghouls to kill the camps, to kill the AoE camps, like the Raptors, and you actually want them to take longer. Otherwise, they can kill it too quick and they won't get all of the camp. So, in some aspects, it's actually a buff, but at the same time, mostly it's a nerf. Your damage versus champions is lower. At the same time, we've got other changes to look at too, so there are some compensations. So, for example, Shojin now works with Maiden and Ghouls again. So, Spear of Shojin, this item now gives this whole 3% extra damage that stacks 4 times. This now works with the Maiden and it works with Ghouls. Thank the Lord we can build Shojin again. Now, the only problem with Shojin is that it doesn't stack by the Maiden and it won't stack by Ghouls. So if you're like me and on paper, you're writing it down, you think 12% bonus damage, that's really nice. It's great on paper. But the problem is you're going to get into game, and I've played 4 games so far in the new patch and I've won 3, lost 1. The biggest thing you're going to notice is that it is so hard to keep it stacked. It sounds so easy, but if you get crowd controlled, if you can't attack, and you can't use your Q and you can't use your E, you will lose all those stacks instantly. And it is so much worse than it looks. I just had a 28-minute game with Spirit of Shojin first item, and I had 900 bonus damage. And compare that to the Leandries that I bought third item, that had a total of 1600 damage. It's so much different. I actually think while we can't stack it with the Maiden and we rely on our Q and our E, this item is a lot less valuable than it looks. So I would probably consider it a very good item. Definitely a must buy. Top Yorick will use this very well compared to jungle. So I would definitely say if you're building a tanky build, you will want to run this. If you're building Lethality Yorick, you probably won't get that much out of this because that target's going to die before you even get more than 2 stacks. So do that with that what you will. In terms of other changes, there's another item that's going to make a surge this season, or this patch, which is Eclipse. Eclipse got a funny change. I don't know if this has been in the game for a long time, but I've just noticed it now, so I'm going to bring it up now. You actually proc Eclipse off just Yorick E now. Before, you used to had to conquer a bug all your Ghouls. Now you don't have to do that. All you have to do is either Q raise them or have Maiden raise them. So you can conquer a bug them and that will work every time. The only event that will not proc Eclipse is if you E and the E raises Ghouls for you. Any Ghouls that are raised by your E cast are considered part of the E cast and they won't count as a separate stack for Eclipse purposes. So, but if you land your E and you quickly QQ and you know it's going to land, you can proc Eclipse from the other side of the lane. And it is so good. It's so reliable. And I would 100% recommend you look into maybe getting Eclipse this patch. It's going to be a very, very good item. The other item that is unfortunately bugged, which isn't really a big problem because we don't really build it, but Baron Mivs I know is going to be extremely unhappy with this, is Malignance. Malignance no longer works on Yorick, and this is actually going to come under the umbrella of, unfortunately, the changes that were put through the Maiden a couple of patches ago, where she now stocks Conqueror, she applies Malignance, have all been undone. Unfortunately, this patch, for some reason, it all got undone. Malignance no longer works on Yorick, and now the Conqueror no longer stacks on the Maiden as well. So we went 6 seasons without stacking Conqueror. Unfortunately, we're back to it. So Maiden does not stack Conqueror anymore. So Conqueror kind of fits in the same boat that Spear of Shojin does, where it's really hard to keep the stacks going because the way Conqueror is coded is that even though your spells might be getting casted, and when I say spells, I mean your Ghouls, even though they're attacking, unless the cooldown is available for them to add another stack, they won't refresh the duration. So unless you're really high level, like I'm talking level 14, level 15, your Ghouls can't actually attack fast enough to attack on the interval that will get them a new stack. It's only on like the odd levels where their attack speed actually coincides with that 5-second mark, because your ghouls can't gain another stack for a certain amount of seconds. And if they can't attack by the time that next stack's available, guess what? You lose all of those Conqueror stacks. It was really good with the Maiden because the Maiden could do it every attack. But now she can't, unfortunately. And with that, Conqueror becomes less valuable. I still think it's a good rune. I still would take it if you like Conqueror. Definitely look into still taking it because it's just as good. Comet, I think, will be very good this patch. So will Halo Blades. So if you like any of those three runes, I think they're definitely ones to look into and their investments. The other change that unfortunately is bugged is Maiden no longer applies grubs against towers. I don't know if you guys realize this, but the Maiden of the Mist actually used to apply grubs against the tower she was attacking. It was kind of bugged / not bugged. I don't know. I think when they do fix it eventually, she will be able to apply grubs against towers again. Which may be a bug, but we'll keep it on the down low if that's the case. But as of this patch, that won't work anymore. So no Conqueror on Maiden, no Malignance on Maiden. There's no anything on Maiden. Apparently, she's back to being pretty useless. No Shojin on Maiden stacking. So unfortunately, it's just the way it is. In terms of what to build this patch, though, boys, Cleaver Shojin Leandris is back. You can build it. There's nothing wrong with it. What I would probably suggest, though, is because the Ghouls took a hit, maybe instead of going 4th item Hollowed Radiance, if you're playing jungle, you could go an AD item instead. I would definitely look into going something like Death's Dance this patch. Keeping yourself healthy and keeping yourself durable is really good. You could also go Titanic Hydra, play a bit more Yorick focused, and that will be an absolutely perfect way of playing out Jungle Yorick throughout the game. The other item I think is well worth it is Overlord's Bloodmail as a last item. If you want to build this, you'll be laughing. That's 5 HP items that you could really get a lot of use out of. If you're building Lethality, you got to take a whack because Ghoul's damage nerf, since they lost the base AD ratio, their actual total AD and damage output is somewhat less. So if you're going to build Lethality, I just build whatever slug builds. Profane Hydra with Opportunity and Grudge. All these items are absolutely fine on Yorick. I think Opportunity is actually getting a buff next patch as well. So that will actually be quite a good item to pick up and put into your build if you like that. If you want, you can also go an AP build. AP Yorick is technically better because when AD Yorick gets nerfed, AP Yorick gets hit less hard than AD. So it actually comes out a little bit. If you're going to go AP Yorick, look, keep it in normals. I can't tell you what to do, but please, if you're in my game, don't do it in my game. If you're going to do it, what I would probably suggest you do is go to Leandris first. Riftmaker is a very good item because whenever your base numbers are high and your scaling numbers are low, anything that has percentage damage increase becomes very nice. So this gives percentage damage increase. The other item that does, that people often underestimate, is this one here. Horizon Focus gives 10% damage boost if you land your E at max range. It's a lot easier to do than you think. And that's on Maiden as well. So you could potentially just build an AP Yorick with this. And did you guys know this? I don't think people realize this. I had no idea. Did you know Lichbane gives 50% attack speed when you've got Spellblade active? I had no idea. So if you Q, your next attack will have 50% bonus attack speed. Never knew. And to round out this build, what I would probably suggest you do is something that's either Black Cleaver, because remember, your ghouls are still doing physical damage. You're doing mostly magic damage with your E from a distance, but you could definitely do something like this, and you could get away with some janky-ass hybrid Yorick. Look, it's not going to be good. Keep it in normals, but I reckon you'll have a lot of fun with this build. Definitely take Comet if you're going to run it. You'll get a lot of value out of Comet with it. But apart from that, look, boys, that's pretty much it. Stick to Yorick items this patch. I want to see you build things like Titanic Hydra, Stridebreaker, Trinity Force. Anything that gives Yorick a benefit, you're going to get a lot of benefit out of. Ghoul heavy items like Cerilda's Grudge, Black Cleaver, they're still good. But because Ghoul's base damage is, because their Ghoul's damage in total is lower, you're not going to get as much value out of it. So definitely look to prioritize Yorick items over Ghoul items. Remember, the jungle clear hasn't changed, so you don't have to do anything with that. Keep the exact same playstyle. And remember, Ghoul can still solo Baron this patch. So keep trying. If you get it, let me know. Send me a DM with it. I haven't been able to do it on my end yet, and I've tried a few games with it. So keep me updated with how you go. I hope you enjoy this one, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you later.